More than 30 years after the departure of the last Spanish administrators, the conflict which disturbs the Western Sahara still has not been resolved. Despite mediation efforts, particularly under the aegis of the United Nations, the various parties have not succeeded in reaching an agreement concerning this territory, which is more than 80% Moroccan-controlled and administered. As the central actor of this conflict, in which the Rabat and the Algiers are rivals, the Polisario Front is in a state of advanced disintegration, which in fact poses a serious threat to the stability of the region. Officially created on 10 May of 1973 for the purpose of putting an end to the Spanish occupation of the Western Sahara, the Polisario launched an armed struggle to oppose the attachment of the territory to Morocco and Mauritania. It also created the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, SADR, which was recognized at the time by many African countries, including Algeria and Libya, as well as Cuba, states supported by the Soviet Union. After having forced Mauritania to renounce its claims to the Western Sahara in 1979 through a bloody armed struggle, the Polisario concentrated its military efforts against Morocco. The ceasefire signed in 1991 under the aegis of the United Nations made it possible to launch a process of negotiation which, to this day, has not produced concrete progress despite the hopes that were born from the overture to the Manhasset negotiations, which were sponsored by the United Nations. In its 35 years of existence, the Polisario Front has given rise to various abuses, particularly as regards respect for human rights, for which it has been criticized by specialized international organizations. The excesses have been widely documented in many works and reports. We ourselves published in the last 3 years 2 substantiated reports on these bad habits. Thus, this new study does not propose to be an examination of the historic character of the Polisario past. Rather, it will offer a current vision of a movement that is in complete decay and now, more than ever, seems to us to be a threat to regional stability. In the course of our research, we relied on many interviews with witnesses and actors on the ground, former or present-day members of the Polisario Front, officers in the intelligence services who have interest in the Sahel-Saharan area, humanitarians, and members of NGOs who are present in the south of Algeria and in the sub-Saharan Africa. These contacts were made possible by the fundamental works on the Polisario Front we have conducted since 2005. We also went painstakingly through many open sources, articles from the regional and international press, reports from NGOs and international organizations, in order to offer an objective examination of the evaluation of many directions in which the pro-independence movement for Sahrawi has drifted over these last 2 years. Some of these directions are not new and were already mentioned and criticized in our previous reports. We can only confirm that they continue. Others, on the contrary, have only recently appeared. That is the case, for example, of the rapprochement of some elements of the Polisario with Islamist terrorism.